Hello and welcome to the video. This video is going to be a stylish cinematic shoot. The idea behind these was like Terrence Malick films. If you've ever seen a Terrence Malick film, it's shot a lot during golden hour with wide angle lenses. I did shoot with the 55mm and the Pentax 6X7, and I also shot with the 105. But I tried to split it up half and half. I realized that I lean more towards the 105, but I wanted to switch it up a little bit and try the wide angle and just get a different look that I'm not used to seeing and other people aren't used to seeing from me. I also used the 4x5 and I shot 3 sheets of black and white film with just Emma. I'll explain a little bit in the middle of the video why I like to shoot Arista 100 with Ilfotec HC. But I'm going to just show some behind the scenes stuff, and then I'm going to show you kind of how I edit and scan, and then we'll go from there. So just sit back and relax and enjoy the video. I was just going to do like a quick rundown of the color photos that I shot for this shoot and just show you guys exactly what I do. So this first shot, you can kind of see how much dust and stuff gets on it. So if I hit H, you can kind of see all the healing spots that I had, and that just has to do with hanging up to dry, just handling it, stuff like that, and just those dust spots on the light and stuff like that, but super easy to take out. You just have to hit heal, and then you just go around and take those out one by one. But here's the before in this picture, and then the after. Basically all I did with this one is bump down the highlights a little bit to bring out the definition of the clouds, and I did bump up the shadows a little bit because it was a little dark. It's a little bit difficult to expose for the clouds and the subject, since the subject isn't going to be lit by anything, it's going to be behind them. But that's the beauty of color film, and for these shots I definitely tended to overexpose instead of underexpose. And I'll show you a specific shot. I believe this one right here, this one was underexposed, so this is the normal exposure, and it's just a lot harder to bring that up without getting grain like this right here, and just the noise will just start coming out a lot more if you underexpose. Whereas a picture like this one, here is the normal, and you can just bump down the highlights and you can get the definition of the shadows, and then or the definition of the clouds rather, but always tend and lean towards overexposure, especially for color film, because the shadows will just get grainy like I said, and they will not look great. The second shot actually was a little bit underexposed, but as long as you boost the shadows a little bit like this, And like maybe right here, you won't get any of that noise or anything ugly like that. So basically I was shooting these, it was around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and didn't have a lot of time. I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off, but we got this super great sunset, and I was just telling Emma to get close to the horse. This idea was try to create like a cinematic midsummer vibe I was going for, and I love working with horses because they're just so stoic, and the horses that we have are pretty good at just standing there, and they're pretty obedient, so we can kind of move them around. And Emma did try to get on top of Rusty one time, but he was just walking around and stuff, so we kind of went away from that. But really loved how the light is in these, and I liked this shot, but Rusty had his eyes closed like an idiot. And yeah, like I said, like stuff like this will get on the scan when you're at home developing, and I had him hanging to dry for around 24 hours or close to it, so the longer you hang to dry, the more it will probably collect dust. So this is the shot that I liked the most. It was just perfectly exposed. You can kind of see the before, and basically all I did was bring down the highlights and just boost the warmth a little bit. But the clouds in this was perfect. I think I was shooting this around 1/60th of a second, but looked really sharp. This was at f2.4 with the 105. This one's with the 55, 55, and then I switched to the 105. And these shots were actually at the beginning of the shoot without Rusty, and this was actually with the sun hitting her face, so definitely a lot easier to expose. This was with the 55. I really like that lens. It has a really unique look to it just because it is so wide compared to the 105, but as you can see at f4 you still get a nice separation in bokeh as long as the subject is pretty close. And yeah, I really like the way that these turned out. This is the only landscape photo that I did, but I was trying to get like a more cinematic movie feel to it, and I definitely like that one too. Like I said, this was the one that was underexposed a little bit. There was a hay bale laying at like a 45-degree angle, and we just laid up against it and tried to get a shot like that. Really like this one. This is probably one of the first shots that we took, but really like the way that these colors turned out. And I'm not a big fan of Portra 400 because I've had some bad experiences with home developing, but judging by these pictures, I'll definitely pick up some more of it, especially for sunset, later in the day type shoots, because Portra 160 is a lower speed film obviously, so you won't be able to shoot that near sunset, and you can also push Portra 400 a lot better if you wanted to do that. So yeah, so let's just get on with the video. Just thought I'd jump in here while I'm developing this film. I have 3 sheets of Arista 100 in here. I use Ilfotec HC because you can do a 1:79 ratio and it's super cheap. And with 1 bottle of Ilfotec HC, you can do about 400 sheets of Arista 100, which is amazing. So I'm just developing this right now. And for anyone that's wondering, I use this fixer. It comes in a liter, and then you mix it into 4 of these. So you mix that with 3 liters of water, and it makes a gallon of working solution. And then you put in 4 different containers of these. What you do is you use like a little sheet of film, and you test the fixer by fixing this and seeing how long it clears. And if it's 40 seconds, you will throw this out when it reaches double that. So it'd be 80 seconds or 1 minute and 20 seconds. And then basically you just move on to the next container of this. So this lasts a while. I've done like probably 30 or 40 sheets and rolls of film with this, and it's still fixing really fast, so I definitely recommend this fixer right here. So these TMax 400 shots, I pushed to 3200 and they were just incredibly grainy. The highest I've ever pushed it so far is to 1600, and I didn't even bother cleaning these up or anything, and I only scanned in 4 because all the other ones were so underexposed, but I could see this being good for a certain style, but I wasn't necessarily going for that style. I don't hate these, but they definitely didn't turn out like I expected, because I have pushed TMax 400 to 1600 and they looked a lot better, so maybe the most I should go is 1600 or just have better lighting conditions for 3200. This is an app I use for shooting large format. It kind of gives you, it's called Viewfinder, and it gives you different focal lengths that you can use to set up your shot beforehand. And I shot all these with Arista 100, and nothing is better than taking a portrait on 4x5. It's just an amazing look, and I can't get over how much detail is actually in the negative and just the amount of control you have on everything. This last one is really great, and I did it with a little bit of tilt, so the fall off is even greater than usual. And overall, I really loved how all these pictures turned out. The TMax 400 was a little disappointing. Like I said, I pushed to 1600 before and it looked a lot better, but I think if I'm going to push to 3200, I would do either Delta 400 or HP5. More so because I'm using Ilfotec HC as well. Maybe a TMax developer might work better with TMax, but who knows. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Tried to do something a little bit different and show my process throughout the whole thing and how I develop and edit and stuff like that. So if you guys like that, be sure to let me know. I'll be shooting a lot more on the Pentax 6X7. I sold my RZ. I got a local guy's picking it up Friday, so hate to see it go, but the Pentax is treating me well so far, and I'm looking forward to shooting on it more. But if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know, and I look forward to the next one.